Peace be with you, and welcome to another collective worship. I'm going to light our candle to mark that this is a special time of reflection together. So I hope you've managed to get yourself sitting comfortably. Have you noticed that some things just seem to naturally go together? Maybe it's a pair of shoes, or a pair of socks, or some twins, or a pair of birds, or a pair of zebras, or even a pair of pears. But some things just seem to go together. Maybe you and your best friend are always together. You like the same games, enjoy the same books, like watching the same TV programs. You just go together. The same things make you laugh when you look at them on the internet, and you just fit. You're a pair, you go together. But then some things just seem to not work together at all. They don't seem to fit. They're opposites. I wonder if you can work out what the opposite pairs are in this slide. Maybe you can think of some people that are opposites. They like different things. They're good at different lessons. They like, doing different sports. Or maybe one likes sports and the other hates sports. One likes watching the Euros on TV and the other one hates it. They think different things and they believe different things. They just seem to be complete opposites. And I have a story from the Bible about two people who were like that. The way they thought about things was just completely different. One of them was one of Jesus's special friends, one of his disciples, and his name was Simon the Zealot. Now, we don't really know very much about Simon, just that he followed Jesus, was one of the 12 disciples, and had the nickname of Zealot. But that nickname tells us something important, that he didn't like the Romans. Some people in Israel hated the fact that the Romans were ruling their country and charged them money for ruling them. This money was called taxes, and the Romans used it to keep their soldiers in Israel. And anyone who was a zealot wanted to free Israel so that they could keep the Jewish law as strictly as possible and to be a free and separate people again. Some of the zealots even wanted to overthrow the Romans with violence. They really didn't like the Romans. And then the other person that I want to talk about, he was another close friend of Jesus, another one of the 12 disciples, and his name was Matthew in Greek, or Levi was his Hebrew name. And we know a little bit more about Matthew from the Bible. We know that his job was a tax collector. He worked for the Romans. He worked collecting money to pay the Roman army. One day when Jesus was in Capernaum, where Matthew lived, he saw him working in his tax booth. "Come and follow me," Jesus said to him. And immediately Matthew got up, left his tax booth, left his money, and immediately followed Jesus. He invited Jesus to his house to eat with him and his tax collector friends. They shared a feast together. I wonder what Simon the Zealot thought of that. The Bible doesn't tell us, but it does tell us that the Pharisees, who were another group in Israel at the time. They wanted to keep the Jewish law as strictly as possible too. The Bible tells us the Pharisees were shocked. They asked what Jesus was doing, eating with such people and spending time in their house. But Jesus said to them, "A doctor doesn't go to visit people who are well. They go to visit people who are sick. I've come to visit people who do the wrong things and need to hear about God's love." So Jesus' group of closest friends had Simon the Zealot, who hated the Romans and wanted to get rid of them, and also Matthew the tax collector, who had worked for the Romans. They really were opposites, believing opposite things. Can you imagine what they said to each other when they first met? What the Bible does tell us is that both of them were friends of Jesus. They listened to Jesus, they learnt from Jesus, and even though they were opposites, they could work together for Jesus. So sometimes opposites can come together to do something really fab. Just like when the rain occasionally comes to the dry desert, water and sand together, and for a few days the desert makes the most beautiful flowers. So I wonder if you can think of people who are opposite to you. Can you think of ways that you can respect them and work with them and maybe even do something amazing together? So I'm going to finish with a short prayer. If you don't like praying, then that's okay. You can just use the words as a reflection. But if you'd like to be your prayer, then you can either read the words yourself or just say Amen at the end. Loving God, help us to respect others, to care for people who are different to us. Help us to work together to make something wonderful. Amen. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.